There he is.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah. Got a few things to celebrate. We got Bitcoin making a move here, which we love to see. We got Jimmy Kimmel off air, the piece of shit that he is. We've got Antifa designated as a domestic terrorist organization. Trump calling for Ilhan Omar to be deported. A lot of things to be excited about. So, yeah, happy to. I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah, and the week's not over. It's only Thursday.
I know. I know.
What do you think
A little
about?
too slow for me to begin with. I was like, I wanted to see next day action, but I guess some things take time. And I don't know. I feel like would be moving a lot faster if Pam Bondi wasn't AG.
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't have a lot to add there. I see people dump on Pam and Cash Patel, and yeah, I mean, release the list, right? Other than that, oh goodness, it's such a mess. I think if you're a big Trump supporter, um, I guess I don't know. What do you think? Is everybody happy? I mean, it's been a tough couple weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like
Yeah.
we're still kind of grappling with Charlie Kirk's assassination and what that means and who was responsible and getting lied to left and right, and a lot of questions that have not been answered. So, goodness, it's just like a giant pool of shit that we have to wade through.
I don't think anyone's really happy. I think there's like some iterative steps that the administration has taken that shows some promise, but drastic actions needed, and whether people will be happy will be defined within this week and the next week. I think it's a very short window of them to get solid wins, and that means people should be in cuffs from Antifa. It's really such a huge moment for Pam Bondi, and she goes and starts talking about hate speech and that type of bullshit and about anti-Semitism. And it's like, what are you even talking about? I mean, like, what are you talking about? So she's either completely retarded or she's compromised. Right? There's no other option. And so either way, she needs to be gone. I feel like if Matt Gaetz were AG, things would be going completely different. Um,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. There's a lot of it's such a isn't it such a weird time? Like I feel like the energy is like palpable. There's so much like tension in the air,
yeah.
and it just feels like before that assassination and after it was a completely different world that I'm living in.
Yeah, it's a new timeline for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are moving quick. World events are moving quick. The Middle East is blowing up. The UN meets, I think, next week to determine whether they're going to create, a Palestinian state. And yeah, I mean, goodness, I don't know. What is a pleb to do, right? So Jerome yesterday lowers rates a quarter of a point or whatever, and the bond market's pretty much like, okay, that's not going to work for us.
Yeah.
And so people who had been on the side looking for homes or trying to sell a home, thinking that mortgage rates were going to go lower, and just the opposite has happened. The 10 years going up. So
Mhm.
that's going to influence a lot of American economics, and yeah, I mean, maybe we've got a recession on the way.
Fourth turning energy, and
That's what it is.
yeah, there's nothing more that I mean, thank God that we have Bitcoin. Like, oh, like thank God, because without that, brother, you're just like kind of at the whims of whatever administration comes into power, and you could be debanked and everything. And it's what an amazing thing to have in a time like this, in a fourth turning like this.
Yeah, and I think the core knots debate has really made me see how important it is to keep Bitcoin as money. These developers sitting on their thrones making changes and ignoring the community is bad for Bitcoin. And knots is the immune response. And I think knots taking 20% plus of the market for nodes is
25%, right?
is it 25? I hadn't
Yeah,
seen it like in 2 days, so
bro,
I
25%, pretty
I
sure.
mean, that's huge because the number of active nodes is is probably, I mean, it's probably outpacing Core, the latest version of Core, it definitely, because I don't think
For
anyone
sure.
took up that one. But even Bitcoin has to be fought for, at the policy level with mempools and nodes. So I think the question there is also existential. Do the miners have control? Do the core devs have control? Do the node runners have control? So I was actually surprised to see Saylor say, the worst thing you could do for Bitcoin is fund a bunch of core devs who think we're going to make Bitcoin really good, and
Yeah.
that's how you kill Bitcoin. It's like, finally, dude, finally. He has a lot to lose, but I have just as much to lose. I have my entire net worth. He has his entire net worth. But this thing can't fail, and we can't let a team of 10 core developers just completely fuck up the one opportunity we have to separate money from the state.
Yeah, I want to talk about Adam back in a second. So that's just a bookmark on that footnote. But the one thing that I've also learned from this core knots debate is like this libertarian bent is really only like a surface level bent. Like the deeper you go, the more you realize it's all about power dynamics.
Yeah.
And if you're, and I'm saying this as a, recent libertarian that I've kind of like grown away from this just based off of what I've seen in terms of power dynamics. And it feels like this libertarian perspective is kind of almost a weapon that is used by the opposition to say, okay, just keep your hands off, let the free market decide, just let it all play out. And then that side is vying for power and control. Right. So you're basically forfeiting. You're basically just like not fighting for anything, and there's still some
Yeah.
libertarian, liberty-based ideas that I obviously love, like, right to bear arms, like the Constitution, all this stuff is great. But, like when you look at the open border stuff, even Dave Smith is against open borders, obviously, and he's got good reasonings for that, but he's still a libertarian. There's just a lot of things that I'm like, that's kind of like something I felt I needed to graduate from just to be a little bit more realistic about where we're at.
I think that's good. I think I would say I'm more on the side of freedom, and
Yeah,
freedom comes with rules. It comes with morality. It comes with responsibility,
that's
you
right.
know, and a libertarian would say, hey, everything's legal. Don't stop me from doing anything. And of
Right.
course, you run into severe consequences if you string that out in certain directions. So I agree. I think the change is more about ego. And this
Hmm.
is just my opinion, but I think it's about people wanting to put their stink on something. I think
Yeah,
it's a superiority complex where they feel like they're more intelligent or more technical than the crowd.
for sure.
But the mob is going to win. You cannot fight the mob. The mob will win.
Yeah.
And especially when the mob has the rationale behind them. And Knots is trying to say, let's keep Bitcoin the same. Let's not change it. And Core is saying, hey, let's just remove the fences. And if you're going to change Bitcoin, then get wrecked. Like, we're not going to let you do that.
Yeah. Is Bitcoin in spirit conservative, or is Bitcoin in spirit more progressive liberal? It's more conservative. It's about
Absolutely.
it's about conservatism, and that's got to be the baseline. And not that it's good that people have options. You can run a core node, you can run knots, whatever you want. You can do this thing, but you can't ignore the number of people, the percentage of people that are running knots now. That is a vote in and of itself. It's an exercise of power and influence, right? Based off of the people, the node runners, which is what the block size wars was all about. What do the block size wars teach us? That the node runners ultimately dictate what happens at the protocol level, right? Okay, so if that's the principle that we're taking, then that's applicable to this situation as well. And I mean, you're spot on with the liberty. Liberty is not, and freedom is not about like being able to do whatever really sexually perversive stuff that you want to do, or have freedom to whatever, just be a complete
Degenerate.
psychopath, degenerate, and
Yeah.
just, but as long as you're not hurting anybody. No, it's
Right.
the great thinkers that were the forefathers of liberty never defined liberty as that. They defined liberty as a pursuit of living a virtuous life that took hard work, that was rooted in Christian theology, theological concepts, and it was about you can reach like you can have liberty, but that comes with being really strict with yourself and disciplined. And
Hmm.
we've completely detached from that idea. And it's like there's so many people that misunderstand that. And I've learned a lot. I'm reading this book right now called Why Liberalism Failed, and I highly recommend it. It's by uh, Deneen is the last name. Maybe it's Brett Deneen. I mean, it's all about that type of stuff. So anyone that's wanting to get educated a bit more on the subject matter, check that out. Um, I don't know if you have a response about that, but if not, we can talk about Adam Back for a sec.
Yeah, let's talk about Adam, but I 100% agree. I mean, one thing that you said reminded me that when Satoshi first released Bitcoin, he said version 1 is released and essentially saying like once that was in place, Bitcoin is pretty much what it is. It doesn't need a lot of improvements. So, two other quick thoughts. I think the question is where does knots go from here? And, as it dominates the node running protocol or the node running implementation, where does knots go? And then the second one is, did we lose the block size war, even though we think we won it?
Right.
Because we expanded from 2 megs to 4,
Yeah.
and we did give up on bigger blocks. And so, if we were to be able to be the majority implementation, do we scale that back, and do we go back to 2 blocks? And maybe that's something that you set at your own, well, it's not really a mempool thing, but I think that's the question I have is where does knots go? But yeah, Adam Back, goodness, he's been all over this in all the wrong ways. I mean,
I
just,
refuse to believe it's actually him.
I don't care if it's him or not. I think whoever's writing from his account is just completely batshit crazy.
It's Shinobi.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, you can.
Dude, he's saying like
Uh,
the like if you just look at the history of Adam Back communication, tweets, and how he speaks,
he
up
never
until
says
like
dude.
up until 2 weeks ago, or maybe I'm kind of unclear in the timeline,
Like 10 days.
track time, but yeah, up
Yeah.
until like 2 weeks, maybe 10 days ago, like it's completely changed. I was saying like what, like go fuck yourself, GFY, and I mean
Yeah.
it's so clearly not Adam Back. It's so strange. I have no idea what's going on.
I think, slay your heroes has always been a mantra within Bitcoin. And I think Satoshi made the right call, obviously, to disappear. You should not have any heroes in Bitcoin, but
Yeah.
you don't have to. You don't have to. Bitcoin is between you and how you choose to engage with the network. And that's it. You don't need heroes. Yes, you have a lot to learn, and it's easy to look up to people who are great thinkers. Um, but
Satoshi
we
is my
keep,
hero because he stepped away, right?
yeah,
Because he made it, gave it direction, then walked away from it. And he
yeah,
he recognized that, well, I guess you could say he was afraid about the CIA and
the
everything.
state.
Yeah, in the state. But ultimately I think it was like ideological. I think that he was like, I'm not gonna do any good being the central figure in this piece of technology that I released into the wild at this point. Now it's for other people to figure out. And that's really hard.
And yeah, and he never wanted to be known, which is why he used a nim, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there is a cool kind of history, kind of tidbit that's come out, and it looks like Hal Finney used to be a game designer with 2 guys named one was named Satoshi and one was named Nakamoto, and the three of those dudes, along with the rest of the team, created a game in the '90s, and the game used a coin called a Buckazoid, and there was a Bitcoin logo on the graphic coin within the game,
I
and
haven't
so
heard that.
it's pretty cool. I mean, the community, the Buckazoid people, if you find them on X, think that Buckazoid is the real Bitcoin. So take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it's a cool piece of history, though. And if Satoshi was Hal, and if Hal, I don't know, if Hal did create it, it makes sense why we've never heard from him and why he said he'd moved on to other things.
Yeah.
Maybe it was somebody else, but I did learn that piece recently.
Gun to my head, if I had to say a name who I thought Satoshi was, I'd say Hal Finney was at least involved, you know.
I
But
mean, the dude said after a week, right? So how long have we been talking about Bitcoin? You and me, almost a year on this show, right? And we've both been in Bitcoin 4 years. But Hal put together that it would be worth one Bitcoin would be worth 10 million
Yep.
within the first week. So he took the entire global economy and said 300 trillion, that makes one Bitcoin 10 million. And
Yeah.
that removes the million coins, of course, that because 20 million coins that he mined. So, I mean, was it Hal? Dude had foresight, beyond what we could imagine if he wasn't Satoshi.
Yeah.
I would never have come up with that. And obviously, I'm not smart. He's smart, but I just think he was connecting the dots early on for a reason.
For sure. I'm just so reticent to make any proclamation that this is
Oh yeah,
definitive because I don't think that we can ever know definitively. I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day we will. I'm not sure
yeah.
what kind of evidence would need to be released for that, but like I'm certainly not in a position to like make those claims because a lot of those claims can be dangerous too. If like
Oh
they
yeah,
catch on, then the Finney family is getting harassed, and
right.
people think that they've got a target on their back because they've got a lot of money, or the state's looking into them, or whatever. So it's almost best to not even speculate about it. Although it is like so fun. I mean, the folklore aspect of it, the history of the whole thing. I mean, it's exciting to speculate on that, but it's I guess you just got to find a middle ground. Yeah, it's it's just crazy, man. Regardless, how Finney is, I mean, he's a forefather, right? I mean, and
Yeah,
and if he wasn't the George Washington of Bitcoin, like he was a forefather, and that's enough, and that's important enough.
yeah, and yeah, he left a good legacy. And yeah, I don't know who Satoshi is. Frankly, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, I think at
We're
this
all
point,
Satoshi.
yeah, well,
All of us retards. We are
I know.
Satoshi.
I know he'd probably roll his
Yeah.
eyes. He'd roll his eyes if he saw any one of our episodes. He's like, "Oh, look at these little lug heads." Goodness.
Oh shit.
But man, we keep it simple. Stack Sats.
Yeah.
That's it. Just forget about it. Nothing else really is going to be as important as the size of your Bitcoin stack. I think.
What are we thinking about ending this year? Because I'm getting pretty fucking bullish, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm getting pretty bullish.
Well, I think. Are we throwing out numbers? I
Yeah,
think we're gonna. I want to go crazy and just say like it'll be 400 by the end of this year.
let's go, dude. I think my prediction was 250. So yeah,
Dude, that's only like one worldwide crisis away.
I know.
And we probably have like at least four or five.
I know it's just a bit more conservative. It's a bit more conservative than other people. I don't know. Not that I have any doubts that it could hit 500,000 by the end of the year. It's just that I don't know. I feel like there are a ton of distractions right now. You know, um, does that hurt? Does that hurt it? Probably not,
No,
because the price is
no,
being
no.
driven by, institutions and nation states and everything, because maybe that helps it. I just don't know. Like, I guess the point is I don't have a clear thesis on why I feel that way. So I'll just shut the fuck.
Bitcoin is risk off,
I
and the
just kind of
world is gonna.
feel it. I kind of put my finger in
Yeah,
there and I'm like 250.
I mean, we're already 250. We're already mentally, for me, I'm already mentally at like 150. It hasn't happened yet, but we're like a couple of weeks from 150. And I think we're going to see some worldwide instability. We're going to see a lot of stuff going on in financial markets. We're going to see a couple more Fed rate cuts, and we might see the Fed look different by November.
Yeah.
Trump threatened to fire Jerome if he didn't lower it a point. And if we go down, let's just say for whatever reason, since it's hypothetical, no one watches this show.
Yeah.
Let's say we get down to like 2% rates, just monster rate cuts. 400 is like not a big deal. Like we're going to be there because everyone is going to be so panicked. And I think you're going to see, I don't know. I don't know what gold's going to do. 10,000, 15,000, and yeah, Bitcoin at 400.
I think there's probably like a 50% chance of that happening,
50-50 is good. That's a
50-50 is
serious
good.
likelihood.
In the event that it does, I think 400, 500,000. In the event that it, doesn't, 250,000.
Yeah, from my point of view, if we hit 387, that's essentially 400.
Yeah, round up. We're rounding up. We're at 200
Rounding up.
already.
We're rounding up.
So we round up from 117 to like 151, and then we round up from there again. So
It
basically,
makes sense. My smooth brain, that makes sense. Those are numbers that I can get with. I just don't think we're going down. I think there's a support level like 92 or 96. I wish we would get there because I could stack a little bit more, but I don't think we're going to.
I was hoping to get paid for another like few months, before a huge run up, but I'll take it, brother. I'll take it. I think, yeah, like look at the Trump statue withholding the Bitcoin. I didn't think that was real.
Dude,
I
it's
saw
oh
that like
man.
5 times before I was like, holy shit, is this fucking real?
Dude, it's like pure idolatry. That thing offends me. I'll be
Like
honest.
I'm like, are you gotta be kidding? Like this is not good. This is not good to see
Yeah,
that.
what else? The other thing that we haven't talked about today, but I'm sure you've seen is Tether released US SAT or U whatever, USAT, Tether in the United States. So
Yeah.
if you've got a digital stable coin pegged to the dollar, the function is they're in line with the Genius Act. So every Tether, like in the other parts of the world, is backed 1-to-1 with the US Treasury. You know, my question is, does the Fed just dissolve over time? You don't need a Fed if you have a Tether, because Tether is going to be purchasing the treasuries. And imagine a world where you can get a better rate on a home loan if you borrow from the bank and use Tether as your unit. I
We're
mean, why
watching the
could they
top
not
city in
just say,
front of
hey, we'll
our
give you a
eyes.
3% rate, We'll give you a 3% rate on a tether backed mortgage.
I don't think that's very far away, to be honest. I think that's within a few years.
6 months,
Yeah,
a year. I mean, they launched it. They're, you know, um, I don't know. And there's, all the talk about a Bitcoin
I'll say within the
treasury at the
administration. It's
US.
100%. I mean, I give it like 90% odds of that happening within the Trump administration.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. And I think, they might be successful in passing some bill that says we're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin, which would be bonkers. Like Saylor has been working his ass off, taking money from everybody in the world, and he's only at 638,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that for 5 years.
Uh,
And the US is like, yeah, we're going to buy 1 million of them. Like,
I
we're
would
going
really
to,
welcome this. I know, I mean, it's not like I'm not a huge fan of Tether or any of the stablecoin stuff, but um I think more so, I mean, I really dislike the traditional Rails component of things and the whole process with, getting a mortgage and it is just so like antiquated. So like I would welcome not necessarily this as like a preference, but as competition to the old way of doing things and just have it out.
yeah. Yeah. I think it would wake up a lot of normies.
Yeah.
My friends who have not bought Bitcoin because they don't understand it. The US buys Bitcoin. Hey, maybe now they're interested.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
now they
I'm
want it.
interested. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any friends. I mean, I've got some friends that yeah, they're not Bitcoiners, but they bought Bitcoin. But like the majority of people, they just don't care. They can't be bothered with it. I guess there's too much other stuff going on. My one buddy, bless his heart, he's always in my DMs talking about XRP.
Block,
He's like, dude, it's gonna go to the moon, man. You gotta get on this. I was like, dude,
block.
for the fifth time. I'm a Bitcoiner. I run a Bitcoin comms agency. Like, my life, it's just, I'm not going to buy XRP.
Not buying your
Like,
centralized shitcoin that even the founder sells every
listen,
chance
no.
he gets, dude.
I love this guy though. He's a really good person. So I hope that he sees, like, I hope that he sees his error, because I really, there's even a part of me that wants to see, and I know this is going to piss some people off, but I love this guy so much that I want to see him succeed. A lot of his hopes and dreams are predicated on XRP going up. And so I mean, I just I want to see the guy live a good life, and it just pains me to know that that's not going to happen to the point that I'm like, you know what? Like, I wouldn't be so upset if, XRP went up, whatever would get him to retire, and then he sells everything, and then it goes back down, and then he can just walk away into the sunset. I just know that that's not a
No,
reality.
that's a fairy tale. That's a
Yeah,
fairy tale, dude. That
it's a complete fairy tale. And but yeah, how do you get someone to turn around on this? So it's just like there's no amount of information that can convince someone like that at this point.
yeah, man. I think they'll have a lot of fun staying poor.
You got to touch the stove for sure. And say, how long does
Yeah.
that gonna take? Being an XRP for 4 years, 5 years? Like what? I mean, really? I don't know.
I don't know, man. You're asking me to describe something that like my brain can't wrap around that logic.
No,
Like, how does that work? I don't know. All right,
you can't beat that with
let's buy
logic
some Bitcoin.
for sure.
All right, I'm gonna do my weekly 21.
Same.
So we're at 117.5. It's gonna cost me 20 cents. There we go. Authenticating. I'm using Strike.
Right on.
Boom. Got it.
Nice, man.
Right. Stacking sats.
Love it.
This is one of my favorite things to do.
I love it, dude.
Yeah. I gotta consolidate some UTXOs if I'm being honest.
I got it.
All these
Yeah, I've
or maybe not, dude. One sat per V byte. So, maybe consolidating UTXOs was just something we dreamt about.
I know that would kind of be nice. Because the last thing I want to see is like a bunch of people that neglected it just get absolutely fucked, you know?
Right. I don't
That
want to see that either.
would
Or
suck.
you think you did it correctly, but no, you
Yeah,
just sent all the coins to a new address and didn't really work.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. I've neglected my UTXO consolidation, my UTXO hygiene for I don't know, I don't know, half a year maybe. And that's yeah, that's not good. I gotta
I
get that.
mean, 6 months, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. I think you shower twice a year. Shower your UTXOs, clean them, clean them off twice a year. Maybe that's a good rule.
Smart. You got to have a system. You got to
Yeah.
have a plan twice a year.
Uh, what else, man?
Dude, I don't know. It's just,
Warsaw Stock Exchange launches Poland's first Bitcoin ETF. Just run through some headlines. Trump
okay.
Bitcoin statue unveiled at U.S. Capitol amid Fed rate cut. Luke Roman, Bitcoin yield critiques reflect Western privilege.
Yeah.
Federal Reserve cuts rate amid political pressure. Bitcoin not surges to 25% of public node share. I mean, we pretty much covered all these things for the most part. And I got nothing else to add, man. What about you?
Yeah, no, stable coins are Google is implementing a protocol to make payments faster between stable coins.
Yeah,
So I think they have some new thing at 2P or something. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I
with
think the
Lightspark
story is,
as well. Yeah.
yeah, I think the future is crypto gets destroyed, obliterated by stable coins, and then you have Bitcoin. And so you're left with two, stablecoin, Bitcoin. That's
Incredible
that's
how
it, dude.
obsolete Ethereum is at this point. I think
I
one of
don't even,
I think
yeah.
one of your tweets was like, I've never seen anyone say, I want to stack some Ethereums.
I know it's mean. I'm mean.
No, that's so good. That's gonna be a Bitcoiner, man. Your audio cut out. Can't hear you. I see, I heard something there. Click on. Try it again.
How about now?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
I hit the mic.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't even know what Ethereum does. Web3, D apps, DeFi. Give me a break. Get out.
Yeah, it's just like this. They're always looking for this next speculative narrative. It was NFTs, real world assets. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole core thing. They're trying to figure out. how do we put all this shit that didn't work on crypto onto
Yeah.
Bitcoin?
Yeah.
That's the whole play. It's a grift.
hmm There's so many other better ways to go about it. Like if you look at what like companies like Arc Labs is doing, like you don't need to jeopardize the integrity of Bitcoin, right? You can like do these things like virtually and find a way to connect that. And it's like, what's the point? Because all this level of expressivity doesn't need to happen like on the
On
layer.
the layer one.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. Yeah, put whatever you want on the L2s and the L3s. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, do it. All right, man. That's it
All
for
right,
me.
dude. Yeah, stay
Good times.
toxic.
As always, stay toxic, brother.